Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's time to stand up for America. It's time to stand up and be Americans. We've been calling for this. We've been calling for prepping, and we've been calling for people to take action. And it is happening, folks. I have 3 great examples. And you, I know, are part of this. And I'm glad you're doing your part, whatever it is, right? Because we all have our little parts to play. But some big things are happening. They've been reported, and I want to bring them to you so you will be inspired. So you'll see that what you're doing matters, that you're making a difference, and that you need to keep doing exactly that. Exactly that. What am I talking about? Well, it's time to stand for America. It's time to stand up for what's right. It's time to stand for what you believe. Zero Dark 30 here. Right? That's what time it is. Woo! And this is satire. It is not news. It is my version of humor. And making fun of these ding-dongs out here. And they need to be made fun of, folks. We need to poke fun. We need to philosophically take them down. So, yep, there's the disclaimer. Always got to have a disclaimer these days. We couldn't have anyone thinking that I was trying to bring you news. Oh no, heaven forbid. When I tell you this, folks, when I was a kid, we never had to revolt. I'm not talking about being a little rebellious, playing jokes on people, screwing around, having some fun, saying, you know, I've had it for a day, I'm going to ditch school. That's not a revolt. That's not a revolt. That's not a revolt at all. Kids in Massachusetts. And remember, folks, there was this place called Boston. There was a tea party there. They revolted. Well, that's in the state, the now state of Massachusetts. Well, some children in Massachusetts at a school decided they were going to have their own version of the tea party. They were going to have their own revolt. And they didn't just take the day off. They didn't just say no. They went way beyond that, folks. The students organized themselves at the school in Massachusetts. And they decided they were going to all wear red, white, and blue. They've had it with Pride and Pride Month and the indoctrination. They've had it with all that. These students did. And they did some awful, terrible things, folks, that the fruitcakes just couldn't have. And they would have never believed it would happen. The students revolted. They tore up Pride paraphernalia. They tore things off the wall. They'd had it with all of the Pride shit everywhere. They ripped it up. They chanted USA, USA. They love their country, which they've been having just shredded in their faces by their teachers. And they said, my pronouns are USA, right? They love America, folks. Kids are now saying, wait a minute, we love America. That's one example. Just one example of many that are going to start coming forward. And it's because of people like you, Americans, who are saying, enough of this shit. It's time to stand up. My next example comes from a former Green Beret who caught Walensky, CDC director, right, in all her bureaucratic glory, standing around like with her mouth open like she's catching flies. Former Green Beret member looks at her and gets her attention and says, hey, I can't wait to see you testifying about the tens of thousands of Americans who were killed by the Jim Jones juice. Can you imagine saying that to somebody, folks? Somebody in public? Somebody important? Somebody at the federal level? Folks, playing anal buggery is not brave. Telling America you like to play anal buggery games is not brave. It's debauched. It's perverted. Right? It is lowly and loathsome. That's what that is. But to stand up to your enemies, people who have sworn to killing us, literally, and killing America, and tell them, right, I can't wait to see you stand for trial. That's very close now. It's getting very close to there actually being, we'll just call it a trial of sorts. When people reject, folks, evil and the regime, things get nasty. And people are now rejecting it. And they're getting louder about it. They're getting sick and tired of what's going on. They've had it. And I think, for once, I'm finally becoming proud of these people in a way that I haven't had the opportunity to be proud of them for. Not proud of the fruitcakes for saying they're butt pirates and they should be proud, but no, the American people. Because they are the ones being attacked, humiliated, reduced to nothing by being told they're wrong and they're evil and they're bad and they're white supremacists and they're Nazis and everything else. Right? But they're standing up against people who are powerful. People who are powerful, who control the military, or at least think they do. Right? People who can sick the police on you, the FBI. The FBI being the modern, folks. FBI is the modern Gestapo. They are. Well, I'm going to hit you with the last story now. Idiot Joe Biden is just walking along, doddering old fool. Nobody questions him. Nobody gives him any trouble. Thinks everything is just hunky-dory. He's going to go get some ice cream, sniff some kids, and screw America. Even members of the media, I think a few of them have realized they're on the wrong side of things. Right? Member of the media directly asks the head of the cabal himself, the head of the Biden crime family, Joe Biden himself, or at least the figurehead, if not, I don't always call him the dickhead, but the figurehead, Joe Biden himself, the president, and asked him directly about his involvement in bribery schemes. Can you imagine how awful that is for our country, that the president actually has information being brought forward publicly that he's accepted bribes? I mean, I haven't felt this shitty about the presidency, folks, since Bill Clinton. Obama was bad. But this is just beyond horrifying because it's come out. And I know if we knew the facts about all the shit Obama was doing, we'd feel bad about that too. And that's what's awful about this, is these people sit in high office, supposedly servants of the people, and they commit horrendous crimes of greed and corruption, as well as crimes against other people directly, and our military, like abandoning them, sending them on horrifying missions just to enrich themselves. And I don't want to give kudos to Fox News, but they decided, I think this was probably, folks, somebody who is now fired. You know how we have a little banner at the bottom of the screen, a little ticker. Fox News ran, not a ticker, but a ribbon at the bottom of the screen, essentially condemning the lefties. And I'll talk about that tonight. I'll read that tonight. I'm not saying Fox News is good, not even fucking close. But the fact that someone there decided they would put up some information that actually makes some sense and jives with the facts that are out there. People are standing up for America. And if it costs you your job, well, that is amazing, folks. It's absolutely amazing. Right? These kids, the kids are all right. The kids fighting back for themselves. As much for themselves as for their country, because it's their lives. It's their country too. Right? And they deserve, and now they're earning freedom. They're finding out what it's like to stand up against evil and corruption. And to tell these pride freaks no. And people are telling the medical tyrants no. And people are telling the corrupt scumbags no. And the big risk with all of this is when you tell evil no, it doesn't like it. And it tends to commit more acts of evil. So you've got to be ready. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You've got to be ready, folks, for what they've got in mind for us. As this gets worse and worse, but people are standing up for America. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you are a prepper? Semper Fi, Godspeed.